So this is a look at all the components there are to end-to-end hockey. There's no other charts, everything is within here, but there's a lot of detail and there's a lot going on. So I guess I'll start by going up here and we'll look at kind of the main scoreboard, clock, and where the strategy happens. So you see you got the scoreboard down the bottom. I can talk about this in just a minute. But let's look on the very top here. So this is strategy for the visitor, strategy for the home. So each team has to choose a defensive option, whether you're going to clear the puck or whether you're going to pass the puck out. This is Vancouver of 91. Their defense didn't move the puck well. If I look at the Vancouver defense, look down their puck move column, they've only got 2 guys rated above 5. Jurke Lume was a stud, but other than that, they weren't too great. So I'm going to start with clear the puck. And then you also have to choose an offensive zone option, which is either dump and chase or pass the puck in. Canucks offensive players were pretty good. They had 2 really good lines, top lines. The third line was okay. So we'll see if we can take advantage of some of their skills as far as passing assists, puck move, and whatnot, their offensive rating, in order to maybe get some benefit from playing pass in. Dump and chase is lower risk, lower reward, so we might want to change that as we go along. We're playing New York Islanders at 91-92, and they're playing pass out on the defensive option, and the offense are going to dump and chase. And that's because if you look at their defense, they have pretty good guys moving the puck. Not great, but pretty good. So they're going to actually try and get some offense coming off the defenseman. And then their forwards were not great. They had a really good first line. They had a second line that could score goals. Ray Ferraro, he was a friend of mine. And so that's why I think dump and chase is a good place for them to start. And then you modify that every time there's a stoppage in play. And the way or every time there's a break in the play, the period is divided into 3 sections. So you got the first section ends at 13 minutes. And in modern times, that's a TV timeout. Older games, it's just when you get a break. The second one is at 7 minutes. And then the third segment is at the end. And so you can change your strategy after each one of those segments. There's also other things you can do. You can see along the top here, you can actually have your defensive be active, or you can have your forwards be active. There's more risk reward. When you activate these, it brings into some of the personal skills more into some of the checks that you're going to see as the game goes on. The thing with being active is you can't play the whole game active. You would burn your guys out. But you can play active in 2 of 3 segments in the period, but no 2 segments in a row, unless you choose to play recover safe the very first segment in the row. So I put this down here and say, okay, the first segment, we're going to recover safe. We're going to just kind of lay back and then get through to the first stoppage in play after the 13-minute mark, whenever that is. Then you're not going to play safe anymore. You're going to activate either or both, and then you could have them for the last 2 segments. So more on that as we go through the game and as you get more familiar with it. But I just wanted you to know that those are the other strategy options in the game. This middle part is also a key. So you can see it's divided into 3 rows. We have forwards, offensive players, which is actually all 5 guys are on the ice except the goalie, and then defensemen. And so there's a lot of the cards will say, okay, it's a pass to the forward in the slot. He gets a chance to shoot from the slot. Well, to choose the forward, it's the next one in front of this little cube here. So it would be the left winger. The 6+ means his shoot rating needs to be 6+. So if this was Vancouver, had the puck, and it was a pass to Jeff Courtnall, because he's the left winger, his shoot is 10.3, he could take the shot. If it was the New York Islanders, however, Derek King is a left winger, he didn't get as many shots. And so his shoot rating is 5.7. So he wouldn't get a shot. And instead, you go to the bracket there, and that says create. And you'll see down here on these action cards, there's a cell for create. So you would go to create and follow the action on there. And I'll get back to that in a minute. But that's what that means. And then each time you've referenced a forward, then you're going to move the cube along. So the next time a forward is referenced, it'll be the right winger. TO stands for turnover. RE okay is rebound okay, and there's REGD, rebound good. And I don't know what RECR is. That's a typo. It's probably just supposed to be create and not the RE part got left behind. The offense of line there, or row, there's no checks for shooting. It doesn't get referenced as often. And then defense is the exact same thing as the forwards. Some of them you have to have a shoot rating in order to actually get the shot away. Okay, that's pretty much it for that. You'll see how the timing works in a minute. And let's come down to this. Let's go to this chart here. And this is how I track who has control of the puck, or if it's a face-off. So right now it's a face-off because it's the start of the game. Or if the visitors have possession, I move it there. Or if the Islanders had possession, I'll move the puck or the little marker there. And then this is the zone, neutral zone. So that's the Vancouver, back in the Vancouver end. And this would be in the New York Islanders end, the home end. The goalies, and we'll go through some of the team charts. Kirk McLean for the goalies. What you do at the start of every game is you're going to roll a D12. And you can see they are either going to be shaky, okay, good, or solid for the game, depending on what that roll is. So in this game, Kirk McLean got a lucky roll. So he's going to make more saves because every time there's a shot, you're going to roll a D12. And if it's within a 1 to 9, that means Kirk McLean makes a save. And I'll show you how all that works in just a minute. REB is for rebound shots. Clutch is the last 5 minutes of the third period, we go to clutch time. And that's his rating for clutch. On the other hand, Mark Fitzpatrick, I think there was a 3 that I rolled on there for him, so he's just okay. So he's got a rating of 7 on the D12. Not going to save as many, but still very solid. Rebound 6, clutch of 7. So that's the goalies. You've seen the team charts. Not really going to go through too much of them right now, other than kind of the way I go through it is I have this marker here, and that's for the first line that shows they're out. When there's a line change, I'll move it down there if it's a second line or a third line. And then say there's a penalty, I'll start to use some of these. Say maybe S1 is for shorthanded 1, so maybe those are my 2 forwards are going to be out on the shorthand. Or if it's defense is on power play and it's my second line going to be out there, I'd use Gerald Diduck and Robert Dirk. So those are kind of how I work through the lines, and it seems to work pretty good. You could do individual cards, take up a lot more space, and also real time consuming, because right now if I know that this line's out on the ice, for instance, and it says any pass assist greater than 6.5. Well, all I got to do is look at the forwards, and there's pass assist, and yeah, they do. Cliff Ronning, Trevor Linden. I got to look at the defensive line that's out there, defensive pairing, and it's neither of them, but they would have passed that test, and so then they would get the benefit of passing that test. And same with forecheck and takeaways. You'll see how that works again in a minute, because there's quite a few of those checks that go on in the game. If you're good at Excel or you like spreadsheets, you can change these from game to game. You can adjust injuries in and whatnot. Or you just play basically with a set lineup, I guess. Something I just really need to work out. I haven't gotten that far yet. I've just been trying to get the mechanics of the game down.